I think it's been a good week, you know, a good start to camp. Obviously, we had 2 days helmets only, 2 days in shoulder pads, and today was in the first day in full pads, which wasn't a whole lot different than the other practices, except for we did have one live tackle drill between the defensive secondary and the receivers and the running backs and the linebackers, tight ends and linebackers. So I'll be anxious to see how that looks on video. I wasn't at the drill, I was down with the O-line. We've been doing a lot of one-on-one stuff with the O-line, D-line, and I think our technique's getting better. I think it's something that we have to do with all the newness that we have on the defensive line, and I've been impressed on the improvement we've made with our hips and our hands and, you know, our technique. I think it's helping the offensive line also, so that's been good. Puma's done a good job. You know, today probably wasn't his best day, but he's been really comfortable. He understands what we're asking him to do. I like the way he's been able to get the ball out of his hand quickly and accurately. And I think our receivers and running backs are doing a good job of catching it and getting where they need to be. Probably a little bit ahead of where we have been in our timing of the passing game, which is a good thing. You know, as far as the defense goes, I still think there's a ton of competition in the secondary, which is great to see. I do think that the competition has increased on the defensive front, which is making everybody better. And then offensive line-wise, I think we've got some great competition going on. So with that, I'll just open up for questions.
Is there a big difference blocking for this quarterback than for Lamar, as dynamic a player as he was?
I mean, not really, because what you would like to do is block the same schemes and set the pocket, and, you know, the guards and centers determine the depth of it, and the tackles the width of it. You know, the difference is that you don't see those escapes and the quickness of the escapes, and, you know, Puma's been very patient, feeling the pocket and moving. So it's a little bit more of second effort within it, because you know he's just going to move in the pocket and throw the ball. Now Malik's in there, and there was a few times today where Malik couldn't see downfield, and, you know, he took off and ran, and that looks similar sometimes. But not so much for the O-line, but you know, the receivers have to understand it too, so they know how to move and how to go get open.
How are the running backs sorting themselves?
They're just working hard at it, you know. Just kind of Trey Smith is doing a really good job. He's been solid. He understands what's going on. He's impressive of how he reads blocks and hugs the walls, and does a really good job of running inside. I think Tobias Little has made great strides. You know, he can do a lot of different things between catching the ball and blocking and running with it. Day Williams, it's good to see him back out there and going. You know, we held his reps a little bit the first few practices, but he got a bunch of reps yesterday and today and did a nice job. And Colin Wilson really shows the talent. You know, we've got to get him in shape so he can, you know, go full speed all the time. He's always been a guy that sweats a lot, and hot days have always, you know, hampered his conditioning or his ability to go hard all the time. So that's something that we work on with our medical staff, and, you know, different ways to keep him at full speed. The two young guys are impressive. They're really, really fast. You know, Javian Hawkins is probably ahead of where I thought he would be. He's lightning fast. He can really hit the hole and go. He's really stood out with that. He can also run routes and catch the ball. And Hassan has showed his speed too. You know, I'd like to see him pick up the offense a little quicker, but he really can go. So it's been fun to see the different speeds that we have back there.
Coach, with the captains, what does that say for Juwan and his teammates voting the captain this early in his career, and then just maybe comment on the other guys as well?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times the leadership kind of goes with the position of quarterback, but, you know, you have to earn it. It's not just announced. You got to earn it. And I think, you know, Juwan has earned that respect from his teammates. How hard he's worked, how, you know, competitive he is, how tough he is, and they've just seen the way he takes over and takes charge. You know, it's good to see Lacaeus get voted in, and they, you know, it wasn't a lot of close votes there. The four guys really stood out as far as the amount of votes that they got compared to the other guys. Jonathan Grenard's doing a really good job. He's really trying to do what the coaches are asking him to do as far as leadership goes. Obviously his production is there. He's a really good player. And then I kind of felt like going in that D. Smith would be the other one, but I wasn't really sure. But D got a bunch of votes from his teammates.
When you know what Jalen went through with the injury last year, and then also the decision to pass up the NFL for a year and come back, how much did you feel for him going through that last week?
I mean, it's just hard to believe. You know, I was actually, I think it was the day we reported, so that would have been Thursday. I got a report that he was not feeling well. You know, I was actually kidding him in the hallway about having a little tummy ache, but it didn't seem like there was anything really big there. And then all of a sudden, it didn't get better. Our trainer Matt got him down to the doctors, and it's amazing that happens, especially the day you're starting camp. But went well. Operation went well. He's doing good. My daughter had that same deal during her golf career. So I called her up and said, "Hey, how quick did you come back?" And she said, "Well, for the first week, I felt like I couldn't stand up, and I kept bending over, but I think she said she was back golfing the third week afterwards." So knock on wood, we'll hope that he'll get back into it. But we're going to make sure that our medical staff will make sure that he's ready to go. And it's just another one of those things where he needs to keep a positive attitude and understand that it could have been worse. And he'll get to play football this year and do all the things that are still sitting out there for him. But sure would like to have him out there, helping our other guys get better.
Any doubt as of now that he'll be ready for the opener?
I don't think so. I guess we just have to wait and see. Yeah. But I'm hoping that it'll be there.
Coach, we talked about Lucas and Linwood. They kind of both bragged on Cole and his improvement. What have you seen from Cole, and do you feel like he's improved?
Yeah.
Being so new to that position.
Yeah, there's no question he's improved. Cole is a really, really talented guy, and he still doesn't even understand how talented he is. He's got the combination of great strength, flexibility, and can really move. So he's just still learning that how good he can really be. But he spent a lot of time this summer really studying and working hard. And, the first meeting I ran with the offense, I was like, "Okay, center, what's your call? Guard, tackle," and I was really impressed with how hard Cole worked this summer studying, because he was right on and he didn't hesitate, and he was confident in making the call. And that was probably the best thing that could have happened in that first meeting, and then we've seen it carry over to the field.
Those linemen had mentioned Goldwire when they were talking about defensive linemen. Has he stood out to you as well?
He really has. We were really happy when we signed him. We had to work extremely hard, to get him. There was some late runs really put in there, and he got here and he had a shoulder. So we did a good job of, our medical staff did a good job of not being really aggressive and getting the operation right away. We missed all the spring. It's a tough operation as far as it takes a long time to get back, but once you get back, it fixes it, and he's good to go. So his strength started getting better, and all summer long, he's got great size and movement. So it's good to see him out there. Him and Mike Boykin are doing a real good job. Jarrett Jackson, you can see a real difference in Boykin and Jackson from spring to where they are now. And the same thing with like Tutu. He's different than in spring than he is now. He's more confident. He's running things faster. Same with Hicks. The guys that Chandler Jones. Those guys that were here and in spring, they're a little iffy and questionable on their confidence. Now they're really competing to play. So that's good to see.
From what you've seen these first few days with Puma at quarterback, when you don't have necessarily the firepower that Lamar had, how does he kind of make up for that in other areas of your offense?
Yeah, you got to distribute the ball. You got to get it to your playmakers, and those guys have to provide the big play firepower, I guess, if you want to call it that. One of those things that we always talked about, feed the studs, and he's got to be the guy that distributes it and gets it to the really good players that can go make plays for him.
25 days till Alabama. Which group has the most work to do?
you know, we're just trying to get better every day. So there'll be a time where we start really focusing on that game. But right now, it's really let's get better in practice today. Let's understand what we're doing better than we did yesterday, and improve as an individual football player.
All right, Coach.
Thank you.